All right, guys. I have a pet peeve, okay? I have a major pet peeve. There is nothing in this world that I hate more than people taking quotes, running with it, and acting as if a player says something that they did not say whatsoever. I hate it. I hate it with every breath of my body, with every fiber of my being. I hate it, dude. So came across this account. I have no idea. And it says, Wemby is asking for some vets. Pop in the front office need to listen to him this offseason. And sure enough, when you click on it, that is not what was said whatsoever. It's just people that wants to validate how they already feel about it. So I'm not harping on this person. I mean, maybe they just misread it or mislistened to it or whatever. They do follow me on Twitter, so I have no idea there. But I think what I was most frustrated with were some of the comments and some of the reposts in which people were saying, yeah, see, the Spurs need to listen. They need to listen. Like this comment, well, it sounds like Wemby wants to skip steps and rush the process. No idea what they're talking about. So let's actually watch the clip and see what Wemby actually said, if anything.
Sometimes it's hard to do.
Wait, sorry. I need to put it on my headset. Okay.
As a young team, sometimes it's hard to do without this quantity of guidance, from veterans, for example.
Would you like at some point in your career to bring in more veterans to San Antonio to set that example?
Of course. As a young team.
That's all. They took this 14-second segment, and all that was asked was, hey, like in the future at some point, Wemby, would you like, I don't know, man, would you want like veterans later on? Like maybe? And he's like, yeah, of course, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, sure, whatever. Like that's literally all that was said. OMG, Wemby wants out. Exactly, right? Isn't that insane to take this clip and roll with it and say, oh, he wants to skip steps? Oh, Wemby now wants to, he needs veterans. He's asking the San Antonio Spurs for veterans. What are we talking about? First and foremost, you should never, okay? I know this is going to sound crazy, okay? People are going to hate this. You should, I'll say almost never listen to a player and go by all the needs that they want. Like, you should never do that as a front office. You shouldn't just put your whole franchise in one player's hands. Ever. Because players ahead of anybody have their own biases. They don't always know exactly what they need. Now, that is apart from what I'm talking about here with Wemby. Wemby didn't say this at all. Wemby is fully into the process. He understands. They're explained to. It's been explained to him. But you never do that. You never look at the Bucks, right? I love Giannis. Okay, one of my favorite players in the NBA. But he can't manage a team. He has no idea what he wants. He has no idea. What did he ask for? He got his coach fired in Budenholzer, right? He didn't want Budenholzer. Fine, that's okay. He had a chance to get Nick Nurse. He didn't get Nick Nurse. Instead, he got Griffin. And then after Griffin didn't really pan out, he got Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers. You never, ever. Okay? Especially if you're a competent franchise, you never do that. And the Spurs are a very competent franchise. If the Spurs right now just bombarded our roster with nothing but vets and it was just mediocre this season, we would be the Rockets. If, like, let's say the Spurs just said, screw it, we're going to trade away all of these pieces and we're just going to get a bunch of vets so we can, like, win now. You're not going to have a dynasty. Maybe, possibly, you can go deep in the playoffs. Maybe. But for the most part, you're probably not. So that's first and foremost. So even if it was in this make-believe world where Wemby said, yes, I want vets on my team. Yes, that's what I want right now. You need to make that happen right now. I don't think you should listen to the 20-year-old. I love Wemby. He's going to be a phenomenal player, maybe the greatest player of all time, but I don't think that this is necessarily a threat of you losing him just by not adhering to every single thing that a player says. I don't think that you're scared like you're gonna eventually lose them. It's kind of the same thing where people try to blame the Spurs with the Kawhi thing, where they were like, well, Kawhi wanted Paul George. He would have stated he got Paul George. No. Kawhi's family came in. It was absolutely messy, ridiculous. He was going to LA. It had nothing to do with that. And also, in the context of everything, we literally went to the Western Conference Finals. So what are we talking about? Like, what are we even talking about? Well, you should have got Paul George. We literally went to the Western Conference Finals, and then he ghosted us the season after. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. But yeah, you should never listen. Spurs couldn't make Pacers trade George anyway. Absolutely ridiculous. It's just make-believe stuff that people bring up to justify their own biases. So this just bothers me, man, because he didn't say that. And when you actually go to the full, it's funny enough, he actually posted the full video. But when you go to the full interview, in actuality, they asked them a follow-up question. They were like, well, what about the veterans that you already have on the team? Like Jang and Manu. And he's like, yeah, they're not with us all the time, but yeah, they help us, like it was such a non thing for people to roll with. Once again, I'm not blaming him. I think it's more so just what people took from it. But yeah, no, they need to listen to him this offseason. He didn't ask for anything. It's like me asking like one of you guys, like, hey man, you want like a Michael in the chat? Hey Michael, you want a cheeseburger? And you're like, yeah, cheeseburger would be cool. Yeah, I could take a cheeseburger. And then I'm like, oh, so you really want a cheese? I really need to listen to you. You are begging for a cheeseburger right now, aren't you? And you're like, whoa, I just said I could use one. It might help my hunger. I can go for like pizza, man. I don't have to have a burger. Like, that's what this was. It was a direct question. Hey, could you use vets in the future? And he's like, yeah, that would be cool, I guess. Yeah, I guess that'll be all right. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Irritates me to no end. I hate when people do this, especially when it's right in your face and you can listen to it and they still came away with it with the wrong opinion. But yeah, look at this. Brian Wright is on the clock. Ridiculous. Smart kid. Spurs better be paying attention. And it was mostly the people that were reposting it that irritated me, to be honest. But yeah, dude, it's stupid, man. Absolutely stupid. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about, though. What's that? Defensive player of the year. Wemby? I don't know if he's defensive player of the year. I don't know. Dumb.